Hello everybody. Today we're going to be working on a bacon wrapped smoked turkey cooked slow and slow. What you see here is me preparing my brine about 24 hours before I'm actually cooking. So you see I'm cutting up my ginger, my garlic, all of the fixings for the actual brine itself. We have some oranges that we're going to be throwing in there, as well as the sage, the rosemary, and the thyme. It's really important that you prepare your turkey for the brine by rinsing it off, getting all the excess blood out of it, and making sure that you're pulling out all of the insides of the turkey that it generally comes with, like the neck, the gizzards, or the bag of gizzards that has the organs inside of it, like the liver and the heart. There you are. If you open that up, some people like cooking those. I don't. I'm just going to get rid of them. But there's your liver and your heart. Maybe the balls. Just kidding. And so rinse off your turkey nice and good. You'll see a bunch of excess skin. That's common. Just go ahead and cut that out. Some people like cooking with it on their turkey, but I like to remove it. And any excess bones, you see that this particular one came with an extra long neck. So I'm just going to cut a little piece of that neck off, just so that when I prep it, it sits nice and flat into my pan. Cut off the excess skin down below and prepare it. You're simply preparing, you're washing it, cleaning it, and you're preparing it for the brine itself. After you brine it and before you put it onto your grill, you don't want to have to do all this stuff later on. So it's important that you do this at the beginning stages of your brine. Okay, with regards to the brine, we're going to go ahead and put in 1 whole gallon of the apple cider, and we're going to bring this to a boil. And the reason we're doing this is essentially to dissolve the salt and brown sugar that we're going to use for the brine. So as we place all of our contents in there, let it boil, let it dissolve nice and liquidy before cooling it down. Alright, as we prepare to get all of our seasoning together, we're going to rip apart some of the rosemary, thyme, and sage, and we're going to use this for stuffing inside the bird by separating the leaves from all of its little branches. You can see how I'm just scooping it right into the bird. I'm going to stuff it all in there along with the stems, but I do want to separate them as well. This is going to bring out some of that rich flavor that it offers and infuses it into that bird while it sits in the brine for 24 hours. So after you've done so, close up the bird by pinning its legs back into its provided holsters and flip those wings back, kind of like your bird is just kicking back and are ready to just to kick back in a nice little lounge chair. Flip it upside down, which I found it to be the best way to store it into a bucket or whatever you're using for your brine. I use a brand new bucket, it's nice and clean, and I believe it's even BPA friendly. I squeeze all of my oranges into the brine, get all of the citrus out of those as much as possible. Cool down my apple cider, use plenty of ice. And make sure it's nice and cold, as so you're not putting hot brine on this cold bird. We definitely don't want to cook it with the warm brine or the apple cider. All right, next we're going to throw in our garlic and ginger on top of the oranges, and we're going to add our apple cider. Remember, we boiled 1 gallon of that to dissolve the brown sugar and salt. Make sure that it's cool. As you can see, I still have ice cubes in that brine, making sure that it was cool. And I finish off the residuals, covering that bird completely to the top with a brand new bottle of the apple cider as well. So it probably used about 1.25 gallons. And then I finished off the rest of the bucket with just the ice cubes itself. Put a lid on it and call it good. Hey, good morning. Today we're going to be cooking the turkey that we brined yesterday for 24 hours. I'm going to slow cook it on my Traeger using my apple wood pellets, and now you're going to see the process of preparing that turkey before we actually get it on the grill. Stay tuned. This is going to be fantastic. All right, now that we've taken it out of the brine, we're going to rinse down the bird, get the excess brine out of there, remove all of the seasonings that we put onto the bird itself. See, the brine is really what's going to help close and seal these pores. So when you're cooking your bird, all of the juices that's actually in the turkey remains in the turkey, and you're not wasting them all into a drip pan or just being that you're barbecuing it or putting it on a smoker. You're not just wasting those drippings. And so make sure you rinse your bird off really well. You can see I'm having a little fun here. And after you're done rinsing it off, we're going to give it a nice pat down, right? It's making sure that you can see the difference between where the brine actually was exposed to the turkey versus where the legs and the wings were sealed up. The coloration, the discoloration, I should say, on that bird itself. So it's not important that you get every single bit of that seasoning out of there. It's just, get as much as you can. Some stays in there, it's not that big of a deal. Take your turkey out of the sink and put it onto a prep station. And then we're going to pat it dry, right? You can see it's still wet. We're going to pat it dry and get any excess moisture as far as water goes off of the turkey. After you're done patting it all down, use your paper towels. Just leave them on the bottom underneath the turkey, so that if there's any additional that needs to drip off of it, it can just drip right onto the towel. And now we're ready to prepare this bird for the actual smoking. Alright, what you can see here is I'm removing the skin from the actual breast. Very carefully, put your fingers in between the two and separate it. You'll feel like the little membrane in there holding that skin onto the breast, onto the meat itself. But just real carefully, get your fingers in there and move and separate the skin from the breast so that you can actually stuff the layer that you're separating with some butter. You want plenty of butter and salt. Make sure you remove the little thermometer from the turkey breast itself, because this will actually rip the skin, which you're trying to avoid. You don't want to rip that skin open. If it happens, it's not that big of a deal, but it's better to keep it all solid so that it can hold the butter inside between the breast and the skin itself. So as you can see, I have the rosemary, the thyme, some salt, all mixed together in a little bowl that I'm going to use to spread all over. My butter I'm going to shove inside the breast cavity, or excuse me, between the breast and the skin itself. Put some on top, rub it down, get a nice good coating all over it. This coating of butter is what's going to help your seasoning stick to the actual skin itself. So be liberal with it. Make sure you get plenty of it on there. And when you're all done, put the rest excess butter inside the same area that you put the previous butter in. Rub that turkey down with all of the seasonings that you prepared, whether it's thyme, rosemary, sage, salt, or whatever you decide to use, but this is what I use. Afterwards, you're going to use some olive oil. This will protect that skin from burning. And just give it a nice rub down. It doesn't have to be excessive, but the oil itself is a really good way, and I use extra virgin olive oil. It's a great oil for turkey and a nice preparation, good for the taste, good for the texture of the bird as well, and it preserves that skin, prevents it from burning. Now I prepared the night before 3 big blankets of a lattice wrap bacon. I strongly suggest doing this the day before, just so that it's ready to go and you're not spending time during your prep hour preparing this lattice wrap for your bacon. Now you can wrap your bacon in multiple different ways, and I've done it myself in different ways. But I've noticed that this lattice wrap is the best way to hold that bacon onto the turkey without having to use dozens of toothpicks and preventing it from curling up. On the legs and the wings, I would just wrap them individually with the bacon strips. But as you can see, how those blankets of bacon just sit on there very nicely without sliding off. The bacon tends to hold very well to itself, as well as the turkey, so long as it's wrapped in this nice lattice wrap concept. And just take your time. Take your time and know that if you did it right, it'll stay on there nice and pretty. You don't have to worry about it falling off during your smoking, and nothing's going to curl up and expose your turkey. So I did 3 wraps, one on each side of the breast and one across the bottom section. Boom, voila, look how beautiful that looks. Next, we're going to position this turkey in the pan and prepare it for the smoker. Oh boy, what a beauty, huh? Look at that bad boy. Alright, so very carefully walk your turkey. This particular one happens to be about 20 pounds. I know they come in all different sizes, so find one that's suitable for you and your family. But just be careful not to get one that's too big for your pan, and place that thing in your smoker. Whether you're using a Traeger like myself or traditional smokers, whatever have you, make sure that you have a temperature that's nice and low. I believe I have mine set at 225 degrees. That's Fahrenheit, and this will allow that turkey to just smoke really slow, really low, and bring that temperature up over the course of about 8 to 9 hours. depending on your altitude as well as the ambient temperature. As you can see, the progress over the course of a couple hours, that turkey with the bacon is really changing colors, making it look really nice, very appetizing, and just wait till you see the end product. Oh, baby. So periodically throughout the day, you don't really have to, but I wanted to keep on checking on my turkey, making sure that I have an update for the video, but also so that I know that I'm not overdoing one side versus the other. Usually in a smoker, you're not going to have an overcooked side of a turkey or steak or anything of that nature, just because it's pretty evenly cooked in a smoker. All right, so now that this thing's been cooking for about 9.5 hours, it's time to pull this baby out. We tamped at 165 degrees in the breast meat and 185 in the thighs and legs, so it's ready to go. Oh man, look at that bacon. Just beautiful. It's golden, nice brown bacon. So here's the thing about bacon wrapped turkey. If you like that turkey skin nice and crispy, you're not going to want to have a bacon wrap because it does a very good job preserving the skin itself. And therefore, it's going to be soft, not so crispy like some people love, including myself. But I figured it's a trade-off because you are getting a nice, beautiful bacon-infused taste throughout the entire bird. Oh, look at those pictures. Gorgeous! Goodness, are you salivating yet? That looks amazing. So this is a fantastic meal to make any time of the year, but it's exceptionally great for Christmas and Thanksgiving time, any holiday season when you have a bunch of people coming on over. Make sure you have a really nice carving set that does a great job slicing through that turkey. It is pretty crispy, the bacon I should say. Nice and crispy. If you have a dull knife, it's just going to spread that bacon all around. You want to be able to cut through it so that it stays nice and firm on top of the turkey legs, breast, thighs, and wings, at least as much as possible. You see how easy it was to slice through that turkey right to the turkey breast, and that's because it's been cooked properly. If it's underdone, you have quite a difficult time, even with a good carving set, to slice through that thing. Now, there's no doubt it's going to be hot, so you can let it sit and rest for a little while, cool off for a little bit. But if you have a hangry bunch like I do, you're going to want to dig into it right away. So pull that turkey out of the pan, put it into a serving tray, something that you can access all the way around that turkey bird, and start peeling apart the thighs and legs from the main carcass, and then work your way to the breast and wings. Hey, there's a blanket right there. Look at that. See, the whole thing just flops on off. Oh my goodness, look at how amazing that looks. So as you continue to cut in through your bird, just do nice and even slices. Thin to win, as they say, but if you like the thicker pieces, then by all means, have at it. It's your bird, it's your home, it's your party, and do as you like. But as you start cutting into this bird, you'll notice how everyone all of a sudden starts coming around. They all want to help out for some reason, and that's just the way it is. So you want to give them a little sample, give them a little taste, see what they're going to be enjoying for the meal for the night. A little white meat, a little dark meat, enough for everybody. All right, now that you have the majority of that meat separated from the bird, as far as the dark meat goes, you don't necessarily have to cut all of it, as opposed to just sliding it right off of the bone. It does a really good job, particularly within those drumsticks. It's important to remove all the tendons that are in that turkey leg as well.